Good morning. Thanks for joining me. Welcome back. Today I thought I would do some more of my flowers. I was at the dollar store yesterday and looked, and they did not have any more of these. These were called hops. And there was several of these flower heads per stem for $1.25, and I bought them early in 2024. So I just take them apart, get rid of these green stamen. Actually, you can keep them if you want to. You might want to be able to use them for something else. But it just gives me flat, kind of daisy looking flowers, which I like. And they're easy to use in your book, in your junk journals. They don't add a lot of bulk. So these just pull off of the stem. They're not glued on. And then this end one, if you can get it off, it is also just a flat flower when you take it off. There. So you're left with a stem, a little cage that could be like a little dress for a miniature little creature. And then these also could be little used in different kind of crafts. I don't know if I'm going to keep them. Probably not. But anyway, I thought I would do some of each color. I've got 4 colors: pink, purple, blue, and coral. So I'll just get these torn apart. I know I could find a use for these green plastic things, but I'm not going to go there. Too many other things on my to-do list. You have to learn when to draw the line, right? I'm sorry if my lighting's not very good today. My ring light that's behind my telephone, or my cell phone, has decided not to turn on again. So I've got another one on its way from Amazon, but I wanted to do this craft and I thought, well, at least I'll try to film it. I've already done a video where I did some of these, but I've got something new to put in the middle. So that's why I decided to do more of them. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't work because of the lighting, but I thought I would give it a try. I don't only craft when I film. Okay, there's that done. And then we'll pull out, so what I've got, and I don't know if I showed you, I showed you this in my haul when I came back from Ottawa. There was a like a headband or a tiara or something, and it was made up of these sparkly rhinestone. Like, they got a metal back. It's quite substantial, but I thought they would be cute as centers for these flowers. They're little flowers themselves. And then I thought I would try layering with some tiny doilies. So what I have for that, I've got some square pieces and some round pieces and some larger yellow ones. I won't do them all like that, but I'll do a couple. I've got this little tiny thing. Brown one. I think I've got more of these somewhere, so I'll go ahead and use these up. I don't know how the square ones are going to work, but I'll pull a couple of those out. And then things like buttons, of course. So pull my regular buttons out. And some of my fancier buttons. my bling drawer as well, because there's probably more things in my bling drawer that I can use. Those that Wanda gave me. What else have I got in here? Charms, like little bees for sure. Bees go to flowers, right? That'll get us started. So these buttons have string already tied through them. So there's some stars and some butterflies and just some regular buttons. Some have little owls on them, like this little pink owl would look cute in the pink flower. Little heart-shaped one. So let's see how they look layered up with the lace. So I've got this white, this is cut out of a table runner that was just wall to wall, edge to edge, these little discs. So that I could put a blue flower in front of it. Ooh, this would be a good brad situation because we have a hole in the center of both things. So let's put that and then that. If I had little floral die cuts, that would work too, wouldn't it? Just looking at my little box ahead here. Flowers, I think that is mostly flower stickers. I do have some little layered paper flowers someone sent me. Oh, and the other thing that you could certainly put in the middle is little tiny wooden shapes. Like this. That also has a hole in the middle. That's making me want to use brads, so I'm going to do a couple with brads too. When I also have a couple of little violets, they might look pretty layered on the purple. I think I have a bunch more of these somewhere too. I tore apart a fig flower at my mom's that she had in the windowsill. I think it looks good with the blue as well. And then I could even layer that with some of this fabric that my Aunt Susie sent me. I'm having trouble finding ways to use those, but I think it's just that I don't want to use them because she sent them to me and I want to save them. I'm sure she sent them in the intention of me using them. All right, let's do this one with a brad. Get my brads out. Now this is sort of just a basic little box of brads. I think I have a bigger box somewhere else, but we'll see what we've got in here. So we've got some shapely ones. Little shapes and designs, and it can be fairly small because this flower is pretty small. What I was thinking I might like to do with this flower is ink it, the wooden flower. Of course, you can ink the polyester flowers too. Let's see, I don't think a duck is going to be the right theme for any of these. Maybe a white center. Balloon doesn't work. Maple leaf, a little dragonfly could work. A little flower shape. That's just a little piece of bling. I got here a fish. A little ant. I was always wondering what I was going to do with those little tiny ones. And then I don't know about the square. Could be okay. And the bee for sure. Okay, so let's probably use these two. Also have to make sure that the prongs of whatever one I use are long enough to go all the way through the 3 layers. And blue. I do like blue and purple together, so let's ink the flower in purple, wooden flower in purple. I'm just going to set it right on my purple ink pad and go like that. Easy peasy. Put them back because they're right behind me. So if I have these 3 layers, and then a bee right in the middle of that? No. This lighter purple. I don't know if these prongs are long enough. I don't think they are. Let's see. Put it through this, and then through the other 2, and then fold them over. That's just long enough. Get my needle nose pliers, and they're long enough to reach to fold that over and give it a little squeeze. No glue required. Pretty. Yeah, that's quite pretty. So that's one. And let's do a pink one. I wonder if I should put pink in front of the blue, even though that's covering up purple there. And then ink that in the darker purple. Now this one I think I'm going to glue because I want to put rhinestone in the middle. So to use with wood and fabric and polyester, I would use the 3-in-1 glue or Fabri-Tac. So I'm going to put this right in the middle. Put that down. Again, right in the middle. Put down our wooden piece. And then our blingy piece. And that's going to need a little bit of setup time. Not a lot. The 3-in-1 dries nice and quick. So that uses up one of Susie's pieces. And then let's try something with this. This is fragile, but I think I'll use it anyway. I don't know what color would look best with this. Maybe the coral. The glue is just a little bit gelatinous there. glue rag here. Try to keep the lid on that bottle because it's acetone based. It what do you call it? It dehydrates. It evaporates really quickly if it's exposed to the air. So just holding that down a bit. This one's going to be a little bit more dimensional, maybe better for the front of a book instead of inside of a book. And then maybe because it's got that neutral background, I'll just use a neutral brad down the center of it. Like that. Not so blingy. Maybe one of these would work on that. That looks pretty. And then this bright or pretty buttery yellow. Actually, I might need that in the very center of whatever I layer here. So that's a little larger. I think with the yellow, I'm tempted to want the blue. The coral would look nice too. Actually, the blue, yellow, blue, and purple. Ooh. And then yellow again in the middle. So I'm going to glue these ones up, even though I probably could use a brad. I'm going to glue. This is a silicone lip scrubber that I'm using to hold it down, just to keep my fingers away from the glue because it's really hard on your fingernail polish because it's acetone based. It just takes your polish right off. But the glue doesn't stick to the silicone, so I mean, it does a little bit, but it comes right off. And then one of these right in the middle to repeat that buttery yellow. Isn't that pretty? Let's try another one of those with a different color combo. I think the coral would look good with this too. I don't think I have any more of those purple violets handy. Unless I've got them in the drawer here. I know where they might be. Right here behind me. Flower box. Just right up here so you can see. There's some of the ones I did before. I'll pull those out for a group photo and comparison. Sometimes it's interesting once you make something a few times how it keeps getting better and better. I'll pull out some of these flat ones that are good for layering. I keep forgetting about this poor box. I made all these things and I don't use them. And I have all these things and I don't use them. Some leaves. Whole bunch of leaves. And some doily flowers and some more layering flowers. So we're gonna have fun. But no more of those purple violets, and I know I had hundreds of them. There's some cork as well. So many things. Okay. So now I probably, in this pile, have something suitable for layering up here. Now the blue might look good with the yellow and the coral. Or for a paler look, that one. All I was intent on was using my bling pieces, and now I've got everything under the moon out. So I even did some with bingo chips in them. So if you haven't seen that video, it is there, and I can link it for you. That one's pretty soft. You can almost not see it. Maybe one of these little ribbon flowers. The blue in the middle. That's kind of pretty. Put these ones that I did before up above. We'll do a little comparison after. Okay, let's start with a cork. This is a cork sticker, but it can be like the background behind, even the purple behind it, but I'm drawn to the coral with it. The blue, and then I feel like it needs something earthy in the middle, like maybe that inked in brown, as strange as that might seem. Or in my mossy green, although then I wouldn't necessarily want the green or the blue. Let's see. This is my peeled paint distress ink. No. Maybe with the coral. Yeah. So just a little dab in the middle, because I do want this flower to be loose, not glued all the way down. It's a strange combination, I think. And maybe a little button with this. I've got a button here that's got pink and green in it, and it's a star. Nope, that's too big. Need a smaller one, smaller button. I don't think the bling is right with the earthy tones. I think it's more of a homespun look that it's wanting. Something like that. Same color as the cork. And I'm just going to leave that cork sticker right on its backing, clear backing. Let's do another one like that. That was fun. Let's go ahead and try a blue one. Just had to have these cork stickers and I haven't used a single one. So brown and blue. And then let's take these ones that they're almost see-through. There's quite a pile of them here. That one has some white on the edges. I was thinking I could ink them to make them a better color. I'm gonna try just with my vintage photo. I'm going to put that, and then I'm going to put some bling in the middle of this one, I think. I didn't muddy it up too much, just a little bit. And then either some bling or, I don't think I want a brad. That might work. This is sticky. I think I'll still put a little dab. It's just the layers that make it so interesting. So much more interesting than just this. Okay, let's get doing some blingy ones. So let's do blue and mauve and bling. And what would be nice to have this on something, I could put it up against the white. These are nice for layering. I think, yeah, it's not that much bigger, but because it's flatter, it kind of works. So this is paper. It's kind of like crepe paper, but not quite. So what was I going to do? I was going to do the mauve. So let's ink the edges of this with the mauve. This is the Alina Craft Old Purpling Palace. And I'm just going to take it right to the edges. Leaving some white. And blue. I might have to do another one of this in pink as well. And then I was going to do the mauve in the middle, wasn't I? This one. This glue is really stringy. It's picking up my flowers. And then I think I'm going to put bling right in the middle. That's pretty. Let's see. I do like those white flowers behind the cutout. So let's do another one like that. With the pink, like I said. Try to keep my train of thought going here in one direction. Make sure I only have one. It is kind of hard to tell. So if I'm going to use that, then I want a darker pink. Which I think this Pink Memories will be good. I think the problem that I'm having is that the flower is just a weird color of pink. I think I'm going to try coloring it a bit, just with my ink pad, just so it coordinates a bit better. See how that does. Because these are O2 inks, it may not stand up to getting wet, but for the most part, these things don't get wet. That looks a little better. And then maybe a little white ribbon flower in the center of that with a tiny bit of green. Kind of fantasy flowers, eh? Got this bigger. I've got one of these too. Actually, it might be more than one. Really hard to tell on these sometimes. It seems to be just one. That in pink. I've got a lot of the pink ones. Maybe those three colors together. Sort of medium pinkish purple, and then pale pink, and then a darker purple. And then some bling. So it's just fun to try different combinations of layers of color. I particularly like the purple and blue together. I think I'll do another one. I've got this, and what did I do with, yeah, I did one with the blue and the white behind it before, but I just put the wooden flower. So now I'm going to try it with the violet. I really love those violets. I got to find the rest of those for my next session, which might be several months from now, so I'm sure I'll find them by then. There's a little bit of gloop coming through that center hole, but I'm going to put more down to try to catch this flower. And then because I've got that stark white in the background, I think I'm going to put a fluffy white flower in the center of this instead of bling. So I have one left. And these are just a package of ribbon flowers, stylish accents, 6 pieces, polyester. Berwick Offray. So it's a ribbon company that makes them, sells them. So that's very pretty, little fresh looking. So what you do is you just pull out a bunch of stuff. This is what I do anyway. I just pull out a bunch of stuff. Some of it might not get used, but it just helps me get my juices flowing to what I can make. I'm not using many of the brads, but that's all right. Not using many of the buttons. Okay, let's do another one of these. Maybe I will use a button here because I've got some buttons with white backgrounds and prints on them. Let's see what I've got first that I would want to use. I've got owls. Oh, I also have this pretty little button. It's just like a white pearly flower shank button. So if I layer that up, that's all that needs. So with that, I'll put the shank button sort of right through that hole and glue it in. So I'll put the glue around the shank. Put that through the hole in the flower. So that's going to glue really well. And then I might want to put one more layer just to take up the thickness of that button. So maybe that's where I could use some more doily parts. This is where I could use a larger flower. So why don't I do that? Why don't I put a couple of layers of the paper? I'll punch a hole in this one. Hole punch, there you are. You should be able to reach into the middle. Punch a hole for that shank to go through. Actually, I want to ink this. So I think I'll use the two purples just on the edges of the flowers again. So the darker one first on the small flower. And then, like I said, I'll put the glue around the shank. Put that right through the hole and let that glue stick. I still have some more thickness to make up. So an actual crocheted one would be really good here. Here's a white crochet. If it's going to be big enough. Yeah, it'll show. So again, put some more glue around the shank. You can stretch these a little bit. And I might have to work that on a little bit. I'm going to end up ruining my nails. So that edge will stay white, and then I'll go back in with, I think, the paler purple for the large flower that's going to go in the background. is pretty. Very pretty. Oh my. Just kind of squeezing that. There's just a pinhole in the center. Squeezing that right around the shank button. And then you might have to put some more like pop dots or something underneath it so that it will glue down. And lay flat on the page. So I don't think I have any handy right now, but I do have some pop dots. I can put one on each side of that button before I glue it down. That is pretty. Kind of shabby, but pretty. I'm pretty determined to do all of these, so let's keep going. And I'm liking the layers, so let's do that with the coral. That same idea. I might want to grab another one or two of those doily things. Oh, I might have some in my drawer here. I got a bunch of them out of the other room. I think I'm going to end up using those, so I'm going to get them out of the way. So I'm not sure if this is the same ones. It might be a little bigger. Yeah, they are a little different. A little bit bigger, a little bit different pattern. Oh, and I had some lace out there that I've been kind of wanting. So I brought it in. So we're going to work on, I did that with the purple, and I was thinking of doing it with the coral. So it'll be that, 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 and that, but way too much white. So let's get, I think the pink is quite the wrong color. Where was that one that I inked with the pink? Actually, it's not bad. It's more coral than it is pink. So let's ink this one with I think that one's too orange. I might use this red though. Let me see how the red looks. What's it called? Buck rose. And I was disappointed with it as a red, but now that I'm using it, it's not bad. Oh, there's hubby. And then this will be the pink. And it just feels like there's more than one there, but I don't think there is. These ones are a little bigger. I might want to trim them. And some bling. I do have a few that are double, so maybe I'll put a trio of bling in this one since it's a little bit bigger. This double one and a single one. Oh, that's pretty. Very pretty. So he's home, so I'm going to go and finish these ones up and take a picture for you. Oh, actually, he's gone out. We'll finish these up. I really want to finish them up. He's not supposed to be home. Okay, I've got some blues here that I was wanting to try. Maybe with the pink or the coral. I don't see a lot of blue flowers in nature. There's some, but this isn't a very good flower color. This one's called Blue Dome Roots, and I don't know why. And this one's Carved Jade. I do like this one. It's probably my favorite color. I'm thinking with that one's that was the center one, so it's very open or closed. Put that on there. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the carved jade flower in the middle of that. That'll help keep it flatter. And then I'll still put bling in the middle. I'm just debating whether to do this color. I don't think I will. I think I'll save that for something else. What have I done here? To get some weight on that, I think. I'll do another one of these in maybe in the pink. That under that. I think I'm going to glue it a little further out. And then I'm going to do a pink one for the very bottom. This might be better if I laid this down. Very floppy. Yeah, that's easier. Pink memories. And again, because it's large, I'll put a trio of bling. Oh no, I won't because of the flower. I'll just put one. Sorry. I don't want to completely cover the flower. So flowers on flowers on flowers on flowers. Very pretty. Now, what's this pale one going to be? It'll go with this nicely. Maybe with, there was a small bit of white. I could go with the pale pink. Wonder if I inked the pink just a little bit with the blue. So it's sort of pink in the middle and blue on the edges. Let's see how that works. A little better. Let's layer it up and see. Put that, and then I think I'll put this white or something white. Could be this. And then that. And then for bling, it's a very subdued color palette, so I'm thinking maybe something different. Oh, I've got this another pale pink. This is an earring. I'll have to cut the back off. Make sure it goes in the garbage so it doesn't end up in my foot. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh, this is so much fun. Hope you're having as much fun as me. And I hope you'll make some because it is a lot of fun. Okay, we've got one more pink, a bunch more purple, and a blue. Can't believe I used all the corals already. There's another pink. Two more pink. And I don't think I have a good blue to go with, like a blue ink to go with that. I did get a couple of different pinks from Wanda. I should try them. Worn lipstick and Victorian velvet. Let's see what these look like. Ooh, worn lipstick is red. So that will go with what? Nothing here. I guess I could do that, but that's not really my style. Maybe if I Again, ink the flower to kind of change how it looks. And then layer some white in between. I could even do like this and like this. It could be a little bit more shabby. My Canada Day flower. And then I do have this bright pink leopard, but that's too pink now. I've got a very, that's pretty, heart-shaped button. I do like that little square in there. I didn't think I would. So now, maybe some more jade, since it's one of my favorites. Might as well use it. And I'll use it with pink first, and then maybe I'll do a purple one. And the pink, I've only got one left. It's going to look good with that without doing anything to it, but do I want to do something to it anyway? What's the Victorian velvet like? Oh, it's a bit more of a, like a mulberry color. Maybe I'll just take that teal just to the edges of the flower, just the tips. And with this shabby layer between, and then the pink. And then do I have a particularly good center for this? I do have some owls with teal. Well, that's more of a turquoise than a teal. Not quite right. A star. Oh, that's a little bit too dingy. Butterflies. You would think, it being my favorite color and all, that I would have plenty. There's a little earring that was a heart, and it's kind of more green, but I think it'll work. I'm a former jewelry designer and reseller, and I used to buy these stud earrings, a dozen earring cards with a dozen earrings on each card, and they were like $1, a few dollars US. Doubled by the time I got them to me, but still a really good value. Yeah, that looks pretty. Could almost use a little bit of something else around the green. I think I'll put one of these. My nails are getting completely destroyed. I'm gonna have to stop at lunch and redo my nails. This needs one more layer. Yeah. Very pretty. Satisfies my need for teal. Okay, I don't know that I'm going to be able to use this one with the colors I have here. Doesn't look right with any of them. I could maybe just layer up the shabby, maybe a little, I could ink something. I just don't have, well, that could maybe go underneath that. Yeah, that looks good. It looks good with the coral, doesn't it? It gets that used up. So I was afraid I was going to put it back in the box and never use it. Purple. Let's do the last blue one. And let's layer blue on blue, because I think that will look really pretty. That's maybe, have I used one that size already today? Yeah, I used it over here and it looked okay. That does look good. And then I think the bling in the middle. Because like I said, that was the reason I decided to do this project today, was to use up some bling. And I'm just deciding whether I want 3 in the middle. This one's missing a couple, but I could tuck it under like that. Oh, I just saw a white rose too. Oh, I think I'll stick with the bling. It's missing a rhinestone, so I'll just tuck that in underneath the other. And that one's sticking right down to the table. Okay, I'm all out of the big flowers, I think. I still have a couple of these small ones, and the doilies are big, so we'll be able to do another good layer with the purple. So this is how it comes, as all joined together, and I just cut them up. So that will leave me these tiny little ones, like that. And because these are old and they've been washed and washed and washed over the years, they don't tend to unravel. You don't have to worry about that. I haven't had any of them come unraveled, even though they're crocheted. So let's ink this in the dark purple so that it'll stand out against that. And it'll stand out against the white. Kind of hard to see it with that wood in the background, but it's going to be pretty. And then I could put more white and then some bling because this is small enough. I'm just going to trim it a little bit more. Don't mind if these are kind of wispy, but I might just need them separated so that they do look wispy. You could do this with just regular glue. This just dries a little faster. And because it's, well, I would use Aleene's tacky glue if I was going to do it, but the 3-in-1 is good for fabrics and stuff, so it's a safer bet for these layered projects. Now I do have this lace, which I purposely bought for cutting up. So I'm going to cut a little flower out of here. That's a Temu purchase. I think I got 1 yard of it for a couple bucks. I never make it to fabric stores to buy them in person, so if I went into a fabric land, oh my god, I'd probably just spend all my money. So I just don't go in there. So that's pretty too. I got a real kaleidoscope going on here. So when you're in the dollar store, take a look for any of the layered flowers to see if you can get really good value for your $1.25 or whatever they are. Because you can layer up these flowers. If they flatten out like this, they're a great thing to layer. And I just got a couple more here to finish up. And I'll go see what hubby's up to. That one didn't want to come apart very well. I'm missing some loves me not. Okay, that one I think I'm just going to layer right behind that flower so that it's not, actually I might try to glue some of those back onto it. I'm not even going to ink it, just have a little bit of white showing. I could glue these back on. There. And there. And then something white as the next layer, or maybe just paler. I'm always thinking that I have to be, that's too big. I can use one of these again. Kind of reminds me of the center of some flowers. Not sunflowers, some flowers, where it's kind of wispy. Maybe I'll try to find something unique, another idea, something to put in the middle. There's a pale blue earring, a large single rhinestone stud earring. I think the blue will be pretty with this. It's the right darkness, like a periwinkle. Lovely. And that one's quite mangled. Maybe what I'll do there is add the lace in behind. Ink that in the dark purple. I think I have, don't know where those petals went. Move that down. Move this down. Maybe I'll put like a dragonfly or a bee in that blank spot. Oh, there's one petal. That's not right. That's too blue. Unless I ink it. Ink it dark. This has been a good and messy session with the inks. And the glues. And all the things out on my desk. It's satisfying though. Set that in there. Oh yeah, that really changed that, transformed it completely from that pale blue, almost nothing color to that dark purple. And then I think it needs a white center, so I'm going to use this white rose. Gosh, those are fun to do. Two more, and we're done. Purples, probably one of the more popular colors. Although pink, pale pink with the neutrals of junk journaling, like all the coffee dyed paper and stuff, it just looks so good. I don't have any of the paper things, so I'm going to have to go right in with my flower, which is fine. And then is that going to work? Or maybe this one? I think this one was too big. That one's paler, but I think I can make that work. I want to use it up. And then either white or bling in the middle. That's all that needs. Could even do pink in the middle. Does look pretty. And then maybe I could ink the edges of that in pink depending on where I'm putting it. One more purple. I didn't even check in my die cuts to see if I had any flower die cuts. You guys might prefer that I plan things more, but I barely have time to craft, much less plan what I'm going to craft. I have to hurry up and get a movie started before, a video started before Brian gets home, and as you know, I don't always get it accomplished before he gets home. And now I think I'm going to use this multicolored one in the middle, just to use it up. Because it's the right size. And then the blue in the middle of that because it has a bit of blue on it. It's got yellow, blue, and pink. So I probably should have combined it with the pink, but it does look good with the mauve too. And that's all my silk flowers. So the only thing now that I kind of want to do is go back and look at some of these that I did before. Like that one I just put a paper disc with some nail polish on top, and it could use a purple flower. There's one that's kind of see-through. That will work. You can still see that yellow through it. And then put that in front of a doily. Just give it a little more oomph. That's better. And this one I really like with the little owl. Maybe I'll just sort of start a bit of a cluster with it and put it partially onto this rectangular piece of lace. And then I could see that, you know, layered up with labels or tickets or something. There's an oval that I could ink up. Actually, I think I'm not doing a very good job of inking because the pad is quite juicy. So I'm just going to do this and create sort of a design. And then I'll glue that stuff onto there. And then that could maybe use a word or another little flower or something. Maybe where I can use one of Susie's flowers. Nope. It's the wrong color. Something to fill that space. Not that, but something like that. I'll find something eventually. It might not be till I go to use it. But that's another thing you can do, is use those flowers to make clusters. So anyway, I think I will go and see what hubby wanted. He probably just wanted to see what was going on and tell me what he's doing and so on. So I hope you've enjoyed my little flower crafting session, and that you will give it a try and come to Thistledew Creations Facebook group and share your creations. I would love to see your take on what I've done here today. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, but most of all, have a great day and happy crafting.